Well, I kind of like the idea of a few curved lines doing this, but I don't want to keep repeating the same line. I mean, we kind of run into the danger of a bit of monotony there. And yeah, monotony is another enemy of the element of design, right? Elements of design. I also think I'd like to catch some light here. Let's go back. I'm using combinations here of yellow ochre, alizarin crimson, and a bit of raw umber here and there, I guess. Let me just go back into here a moment. I just think that I would like to define a rock. And I'm using a new brush, so it's depositing little short pieces of broken hair, which have now dried onto my wash-in. Let's see, a little more raw umber. I want to slowly tone things down as I get towards the edge here. Still trying to keep some interesting shapes going though. Got some grass and I'm going to put in some stone. I think you can see that. A bit of a rocky shore here. Leaving a lot of lines between brush strokes, which can be removed later. I like those dividing lines, but not too much. You don't want too much of that. Okay, I think that's all right for now. May end up putting a little more light here eventually, but not yet. For the time being, we're just gonna work our way across here. These big boulders, they're not coming right down to the water in that area. I'm not really trying to go for that. Okay, I can reestablish my water line here. At some other point. Okay, so a couple of rocks here. Let me just get rid of that line. It's kind of bothersome. Okay. Just a touch of finger painting. Alright, rock, yeah, I think I'm going to come up a little more. Yellow ochre there. Add a touch of white to it. Up until now, I haven't worried where the light's really coming from. But as we get closer to the shore, I think, you know, the whole painting, as I mentioned earlier, I think the light's kind of omnidirectional. It's really kind of atmospheric feeling. But as far as our main actor here, our lead actor, we want the spotlight on him or her. You know, we want that. We want more intensity, a little more drama here. We've already got it in the shape. We need to maintain it as well with our values and our chroma. So I guess when I say that I want the spotlight to be here, what I mean is not just value and chroma. I mean it has to have, well, I guess to sort of describe it more accurately, or more, to put a broader description on it, what I mean is we need the highest drama to be in this area. So drama, of course, can be the light adjacent to the dark. What I'm seeing now, or what I'm thinking of now, is that our light will come from above and behind us and a little bit to the right, so that these rocks will be somewhat toned down. They'll be more in the shade. We come over to the top part of this knoll here, and we'll have a little more light here. And then we'll tone down back in this direction again. So anyway, that's my thinking, for what it's worth, because it changes, as you know. Bum. Okay. Put a little more red in here. I don't want all the grass to be yellow. And it's autumn. I don't want greens in here now. I just would kind of like to keep things related to each other. A little high value right off the bat. I'd rather build it up to that value if I need to, rather than just putting it in right away. Yeah, that's more like it. Okay. But this line will be a little lighter again. Okay. Don't know if I want to come this high. Just go for it. Just go for it, Phil. A painting that you paint in a cowardly fashion is a painting that looks like it was painted in a cowardly fashion. And I'm guilty enough of that already. May as well get this line established. Okay. It's really going to be something like this. All right. Okay, I'm going too chalky right here. Whoops. Time to get rid of a little hair. Whoops, still sitting there. This is why I always wear sweatpants or just plain grubby clothes when I'm painting. I don't care what I look like, I care what the painting looks like. And if I found that psychologically, if I wear nice clothes, then I'm tempted to, when I end up with stray hairs or little bits of junk on my paintbrush, I'll just leave it there. And I do end up getting a little sloppier. It looks a little messy on the painting. Yeah, I know it takes nothing to grab a piece of toilet paper or paper towel and wipe the end of the brush off, but then I lose what's loaded in my brush, even if I just touch it a little bit. This way I just absent-mindedly pick it off the end, rub it on my pant leg, and we're away. That's not really a tip. I don't mean it as a tip. Maybe it's more of a symptom. I don't know. Not worried about it. Alright, I need a little bit more yellow ochre. Just a bit of that. And I think that's all for the moment. Trying to keep some somewhat interesting shapes in here. I want some variety in color, even in individual brush strokes, because otherwise you'll end up with something that just looks too much like a paint by number. Okay, now I have to get rid of what's on my brush, but I don't need to dip it in paint thinner and clean it or anything. I just want to get rid of the bulk of what's there. Excuse me. Okay, that's good. I like the idea of the viewer's eye looking here, going here, and then with the water most likely heading back in this direction a little bit. Excuse me. And even if the water doesn't do it, which I think I'm going to make that happen, I still like the fact that this piece of land seems to come a little bit forward and head off to the left-hand side. A little bit. Alright, I think that's a bit bright. In fact, I'm going to go with a little more raw umber here again. Okay, that's, one's a bit bright, one's a bit dark. Yep, I think that's going in the right direction. Okay, I think that's a bit liney, which again I can change that later. But see what I mean? There's, you know, you have sort of this dead grass in the foreground here, and then we have a little bit of undercut, a little bit of erosion from water action and what have you, and so, you know, if that's grass, golden grass on top, we have just sort of a bit of semi-sunlit dirt as it erodes away. Okay, so far so good. So I kind of like the shape of this. Hill going up a little bit. Well, hill. Barely a hill, but I'd like that. I'd like the land to appear to be going up a little bit right there. Try to make sure I don't just wash it in solid, otherwise we're back to having a cartoon on our hands. Or paint by number. You know, I'm not knocking paint by numbers in general. I think they're a great way for somebody who's intrigued by things, and you know, it's kind of a nice hobby. I think it can engage potential painters. You know, they get sort of the dopamine shot once it's done. It's like, oh, you know, I did that. That's pretty neat, and it can teach you a little bit about how colors are used. So I think they're neat, but they're not what I want to produce. That's for sure. Alright, so I kind of like this line across here. Alright, that's dark. This will be a bit of a stone sticking out. This will be dark here. We go up from this light area into our trees. These will fade down as well, you know, especially the bottom of the rock here. I think it'll be a rock here as well. Will stay dark to maintain the drama, the strength. I think that's coming pretty well. What I'd like to do, though, just to conclude this video with, I suppose, is let's take a little bit of straight raw umber. Just to show that there is some light. Catching that fence post. That's too dark. Whew, that's very light. I'll leave it. No, I'm not going to leave it. Who am I kidding? It's too late. If I know it's too late, then why would I leave it? It's too late because if I were doing my maximum value with yellow ochre at the base of it, that light would be fine. But I'm not going with the maximum there. I'm actually not at all doing that. And now, because my first brush stroke was a little sloppy, I'm going to take that a little bit off. I don't like the look of that fence post the way it sits, so we're just going to do that. And that. And that. No, I always fall into that trap. Too much light too soon. All right. But now, because I was a bit hasty, I need to take a little bit of raw umber and yellow ochre and cut back into that spot. Tidy it up a little. Maybe I'm being too fussy, I don't know. But there's one other spot here as well. There, I think that's going to do it for the moment. I will probably put a highlight on that. Once I've painted my trunks, I will go over those trunks and lay highlights in. Well, same as pretty much everything. You know, I'm not happy with this fence. I don't like that it neighbors this color too much. It's a bit smeary, it's a bit indecisive looking for me. I took toilet paper, laid it over top, and patted it down so that the texture was taken off of it. It's so unnoticeable that even if I decide to leave the fence, it's okay. You know, it can look finished. But if I decide to go over it or blot it out or do whatever, that's good because I don't have that texture there anymore. Boy, I'm just not happy with what's going on here. Sometimes my brain just doesn't work. Okay. I guess it worked that time. Okay, I'm gonna leave it for now. I still feel like a truck ran over me, so that's all I'm gonna do for now. We'll talk to you soon, guys. Thanks. Actually, I'll do this quickly as well. Gives you a little more of a close-up. Just show you what I've had going on there. Okay. There it is.